Don Bosco stories that are partially true. Bishop, you go first.
A partially true story. In memory of Jeff Zaharias, who's no longer with us, we knew when Coach was not feeling well on a Sunday morning when we had early practice, and he would sit on the stage, and we had a funny feeling he might have been hungover. So Jeff Zaharias would bring a box of donuts and hope that Coach wouldn't kick our ass running sprints.
Justin Jankowski, class of
57.
57. Wow.
The 57 class had a dream.
Yeah, we all did.
And look at us now.
Saying yes right now.
Jeff Barber, tell a couple stories, you and Wasik and Jerry, about life. This one of the greatest men and fishermen of all time, right here.
I mean, how honest can we get?
Oh, just lied. I'll never check the records.
But the one that got away?
Yeah, that one.
How big was it?
Tell a Halaska
We're
story.
talking about fish.
No?
Sign in, Michael. Get a name tag. How you doing, Panarian? You goat. Oh, he's picking on me.
Ronnie, it's good to see you, sorry ass.
Say hi to the wife. Coming here.
And he was a year or two after.
This looks like Mike Shamashik.
That could be. Yeah.
Was the school condemned and we had to get out of the building?
No. It was because of the merger.
The transition.
The transition.
Oh.
And yeah.
See, I thought it was because of the building.
Here's my memory of that day is that the guys who were 18, I think that was probably you because I wasn't 18 at the time. We all went down to the lake and had party down there by St. Mary's Academy. But we had a baseball game. We were playing Marquette up in up by Messmer High School. I forget the name of that field. We were playing Marquette and DePratt. So we were all going drinking. Now we have to come back and play baseball that afternoon. So Don DePratt used to go out in center field and he lay down and he stretch out his legs. So he goes out there and he lays down and he falls asleep. Seriously. So Halaska calls us all in because we let DePratt lay there. So we all come running in there and Halaska says, what the hell is DePratt doing out there? I said, I think he's sleeping, Coach. Well, Halaska knew what the hell was going on. He had this big shitty grin on his face.
Oh, God.
Go out there and wake him up. So we went out there, woke him up, and we ended up beating them. And they were they were supposed to be one of the favorites in the conference.
Maybe you should drink more.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the moral of the story.
Yeah.
Oh, is that funny?
Probably the greatest line that Tom Sager had when he was coaching. And he was a coach on the B team. And we never called our own plays. Well, I was quarterbacking. Never called our own plays. So who comes in to call the plays? We're the flankers. So Sulik comes in and he gets in there and he goes, geez, I can't remember what it is. And he goes, come on, we got to get going. All of a sudden the coaches, Barber, call a play. And I said, I don't know what to call, so just call the play. So I call the play, right? Obviously the wrong play.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Timeout. Sager met me halfway on the sidelines. He goes, Barber, he said, you could screw up a wet dream.
I'm actually in the first graduating class of Thomas More. So I got the short end of the stick. So I'm 3/4 of the way through, and they vote us off the island, and now we have to go over to Pianono and join them. But it still ended up pretty good for all of us because we had an opportunity to select the school name, the school colors, the mascots, all that stuff. But it ended up working out good for us, Bosco guys, because on the football team, Halaska and those guys were all coaching us, so it turned out pretty good for us.
Yeah, well, most of the time.
One of the greatest baseball players in Don Bosco. My oldest brother, he could hit the ball basically 400 feet when he was a freshman in high school. He basically played all years as a varsity catcher, so he did an outstanding job. May he rest in peace. My brother Jim.
Here, get these older fellas here. Get Al Singer, possibly one of the best looking football players that Don Bosco ever had. Down there is Trisco, and he thinks he's a singer. Trisco,
No, I'm just saying. And
you know, I am 73. I can't remember last week. I can't remember Tyson scored the other day in golf.
You don't want to remember that.
See, you know.
Tim Tyson is a great golfer.
and assorted other lies.
Well, I keep dealing with his regional representatives, and they say he walks on water. And I said, that's because he lives in Wisconsin, and it freezes about 6 months of the year. You can walk on water.
They were having a problem with the valve one time, and somehow my name got shot into it. I saw Pat Meisenheimer. Can't possibly be another Pat Meisenheimer.
Well, when Bosco closed abruptly, I was a junior then, and that was 1972, and it closed. Well, a good friend of mine who was the manager, Bob Huber, who worked with Pepis, and they were criminals. Okay, so they stole the banners. They went. So fast forward to 2006. I go out to Washington. Bob Huber living in Seattle, so my wife and I are out there, and unfortunately he got sick and passed away. And his wife calls me one day. She goes, you know, I'm in the basement, and I got all these championship Don Bosco banners. I said, well, that's where they went.
Bosco Knights take fourth and state. What's with that shit?
Well, we were the Green Knights or whatever.
Well, Don is a knight.
Don is a knight. See? Don't you know your
Don is? Oh yeah, you're
Don
right.
is a
Okay,
knight.
so they called us the Knights in like media. I don't like that. We were the Dons, damn it.
Well, just
We were the Dons, damn it.
it's about time you inflicted some of your will on it.
Catholic Conference, and we were the toughest school in the Catholic Conference. Nobody could beat us.
St. Joe's was pretty tough too.
And then Marquette, we had the rivalry Marquette, and then Pianono was a little rivalry, but then they were. Who cared about Pianono at that time?
I know, but I had to play with this.
And you went to Pianono, weren't you? You were the
No, I
first
didn't
class.
go to Pianono. I went to Thomas More. Don't you dare say I went to Pianono.
That's right, but you actually.
It was a takeover at the time.
But you were in the,
Bosco
you
was
were
still
in
going
the,
to stay
you were in
open.
the Pianono facility.
Yes, we were.
Okay, that's all I got. That explains a lot.
So
of
actually, selfishly, we had a much better basketball team. If we'd have stayed at Bosco, we probably would have sucked. You know, because I would have had to shoot even
Well, you
more.
had Tom.
I am visiting here with a family that is a legendary at Don Bosco. Jerome Barzac, class of 50. Eddie Barzac, class of 58. Bill Barzac, class of 60.
Don't forget to mention Jack Barzac,
Jack Barzac,
class of 58. Bobby Barzac,
Bobby,
and Ronnie, Kenny, and Tom.
That's
Not to mention the fact that we got a brother-in-law, Danny Goodman.
and we have enjoyed the Barzacs as coaches and more so as people.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. Oh, we forgot to mention Michael.
Yeah, I just like to say that it was really nice that this came off. I'm visiting up from Memphis and he's coming from Maryland, and I want to thank all the people with this thing together because that's been really great because it's 65 years since I graduated.
We appreciate it. And we appreciate you guys making the effort to get here. You know, we had a lot of fun putting this together, and our goal was to have a summer picnic every year. Right?
Oh,
it's
yeah.
getting out of hand.
It's tough. It's tough.
I was very appreciative of hearing from Russ Slater that this was going on.
Sure.
And I immediately called my brother, and he immediately said, yes, I'm going to go. Let me know when.
You fellas having a family reunion?
Yeah, you're
Carpenter.
Yeah. So did you have a brother earlier?
Yeah.
Okay, because I remember him. Was he in about 50?
My brother is Brother Norbert.
Oh, that's why. Okay, that's why I know. Okay.
Who ran the park the fast?
Grant was really good.
Yeah.
Grant was really
I never ran the park in under 5. I ran it like 20 times before basketball started. One day, Fonz is timing us. I had to run it, and Sager says, you can't come out for basketball unless you run the park under 5.
Right.
So every day, so one day, and it's John Glish and I are running, and he crosses the finish line, and his arms go up. So I run across, Fonz goes 5:01.
Oh no!
I almost killed him.
How did we run in those little green tight shorts?
Oh,
for God's sake?
Well, and running it. Then there was the hill on the other side of the pool when you went past South Stadium.
Yeah, right.
It was.
Oh man!
So I probably ran the park more than any human being because I couldn't. You had to run for gym class, and then
remember the Tarzan relays?
You ran that park.
Yeah, I know. I ran the park since the Olympics. I've let myself go.
My fastest time for the park was 5 minutes flat. 5 minutes flat, and I was dying. Everybody took shortcuts, and everybody was getting this 5 minutes around Kosciuszko Park. And I was done. Then I retired, and the next one about 8, 9 minutes. Yeah, I do.
When we went for basketball, I mean, there's all it. I mean, Zaharian was running like 4:20.
He could do that. Remember,
they
wanted to impress Sager, and you didn't care about impressing Sager. You just wanted to shoot the ball. That's all you did was shoot the ball, Timmy.
Remember Sager? He had the brooms. Oh, we had going for layups, and then he had Haluska sitting below and hitting you with those football pads. And then Sager was trying to swat the ball away.
You're supposed to rebound in it.
Yeah, and then he go, "You pussies!
Yeah.
Come on!"
But see, it dawned on them that you could see through the tennis racket, so they put black.
That's right. Yeah.
They put black 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper on the thing, so you couldn't see through the tennis racket. Like Jim Jones coming at you. Yeah, but I remember. Oh, Jerry, you had a hell of a tournament. I mean, I still remember that. I mean, Jerry had. I mean, you had a hell of a tournament. In fact, we didn't.
I don't remember.
Yes, you were. Oh,
I was drunk.
Whatever works.
That would have
worked.
But they would have went to you for the last shot.
I know.
Except they double teamed them because you had like 30 points or something. He had. They said Sager said at a timeout is we're not going to go to they're going to double team Jerry, so I'll go to Tomaszewski, and he had an open shot.
He had an open shot, but once he had the open shot, I still said to him, they went over there. I said, "Gary, shoot it over here." He took the shot anyway.
yeah, I remember that.
You could have really been in history. That was.
I was due. Did any of you have him for history? He would always start out basically, and this is how it would go. And we had to give a speech, and Carrillo says to me, he says, "If you go up there and do that, I'll give you $1." So it was my turn to go up, and I went up there and first thing, well, basically.
You remember, when we were sophomores, and Sager would bring us up and we'd press the varsity, and you ran banana. Mark Schultz is the nicest human I know. But if he was the Flash on Bananas in a Fight, you did not want to be in his way. It was like bowling pins. Guys would flying, then he'd go, "Oh, I'm sorry." He'd pick your ass up off, knock you down.
Oh, Mark had the sharpest elbows in high school basketball. He had to. I know. I mean, everybody he played against was 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 inches taller than him.
Why didn't you grow more? What's the matter with you?
I don't know what happened there, but I wasn't.
Tomaszewski were taller than you.
They were, and Gary's a guard, right?
Yeah.
I'm center, and he's taller than I am. But the more aggressive I was, you could look over at Tom Sager, and he just loved it. You know what I mean? So you played to the coach. You know what I mean? I wasn't all that talented, but boy, I cranked up the aggressiveness. The elbows. Beating up people.
I used to walk to Villa Romas and back from 32nd.
That's where Tommy got jumped that one night. All those kids from St. John of Antwerp.
That's why I got put on double secret probation. Because remember, the Pratt and Doug Adil, we ran into some girls, and they threw the kid through the front door of the Villa Romas. I got sucker punched. I had my lips split open, and then Monday morning, I come to school. I got this band. Sager, who was our dean of students, takes me to the office and goes, "Schmitty, next time you pick on somebody your own size. And by the way, you're on probation till the end of the school year." So,
by the way,
but he said to me, "You should pick on somebody your own size next time."
You got a door in the face.
We were standing, because they kicked us out of Big Boy, so we had to go to Villa Roma to congregate after game. So we were standing like a half a block away, and there was this, when whoever threw the kid through the door.
Tony Duggadil and Don DePratt tackled him, and he went through the door. Meanwhile, I'm bleeding like crazy, and I was kind of like,
You finally showed up.
Yeah.
Good, how are you?
oh, they tackled him, and he went through the door. That's what happened. And then so they were
Crash. And I thought, what?
Oh, you were there.
I was there, but I was, we were down the block or whatever.
Yeah, guys, thanks for all your work, you guys.
Thanks, seriously. Thanks, Bish.
You guys did a lot. We know that.
Oh, Mario! How are you? Man, it's great to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Yeah.
How have you been?
Very well, very well, very well.
Thanks for putting all this together.
Yeah, you're
Very
welcome.
nice.
You're welcome.
That's Sergio Mendez.
Tom Sager used to call me that when he would forget my name.
You were just a lump you with any Hispanic guy.
He didn't remember that.
No, he doesn't.
If it sounded exotic.
My dad had a little business. We started a little business, and he didn't speak any English. So he would say to me, if you're in the basketball team, who's going to help me? Who's gonna, So then,
It's all the more reason why you wanted to play basketball. And Mario, you jumped us. You were supposed to be in my class, and then you jumped us.
Well, I know. I was
communist.
Well, I think that's because you took 5 years.
Well, that's true. I took 10 years for college. Why wouldn't 5 for high school?
So you know what? After I found out that that Don Bosco was closing, after we found out, I went to see Brother Pierre every day. I would be there, and I'd say, Brother Pierre, look, I have enough credits to graduate. Why can't I graduate? Yeah. He said, well, you can't. That's not allowed in our school. We have bad arguments about this until I just wore him out. And he just
really?
Said, I said, all right.
I can't imagine anybody wearing Brother Pierre out.
Just get out. So I graduated with the
How
72.
did you get that? How did you
I went to summer school.
Oh, okay.
And took classes all through summer school. So.
Wow.
I don't know why I wanted to graduate early, but I did. So.
You didn't want to go to Thomas More, probably.
No, well, I didn't know that when I was a
Nobody
freshman.
knew that.
Yeah.
No, nobody knew that.
Well, not when but going in at the end of junior year.
Yeah. So.
In fact, they were talking.
I almost didn't. I mean, at first, I was like, oh man, because the coaches was the main reason I went to that. But I thought I could go to Pius and that would be a really good team. And
But Kubzak was talking. I think it was Kubzak about the last day of class. Now I don't know if that's when you were there, maybe when Brother Dan says I got 2 announcements. I got good news and bad news. The good news is no exams.
Right.
And the bad news is Bosco's closing.
Yeah, that was a weird. Yeah. That was a weird day.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure I didn't know what was coming. I could have never.
I
imagined.
was on the staff and I didn't know.
Yeah. Remember we had to sell those turkeys, the
I remember that.
Donuts, turkeys, everything. We had to.
Yeah, there was that big rally. All of a sudden, I remember we're in class and they go, they go, what's all that noise in the gym? We have to go to the gym, and the band's playing in the gym.
Hi.
And then this guy.
Good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Still
alive.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
In fact, I didn't see Ritz this morning, so must still be alive.
Well, there you go. Yeah. another day above the ground, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I remember I was in Brother Ralph Newman's class, and he goes, "We better go see what's going on in the gym." And there's like, the cheerleaders were there, and it was like, and then they announced we're having this big fundraising to save Don Bosco.
Yeah. They raised thousands of dollars raffling off a $20 turkey.
I know.
I mean, talk about
I probably sold, I don't know, $150
No,
worth
I mean, they did.
Right, no.
To win a frozen turkey.
What a concept for a turkey.
Probably cost
most of the time it's a car, a motorcycle,
no,
or
a turkey.
Was
that a Thanksgiving?
That says a lot about 11th and Wind Lake right there. I think that says a lot about 11th and Wind Lake.
But they did. They got thousands and thousands of dollars.
Right.
It was
unbelievable. I remember there was a time also we sold donuts. I don't know if you remember.
I don't remember that.
We had a donut thing.
Donut sale?
Donut sale, yeah. I mean, they were always pimping us for it.
Yeah, there was the obligatory chocolate bars too. Then the world famous. They always had those. Then you rip off the back of it, and you could get a free hamburger at McDonald's or something. All the stuff we did, huh? What a different time and place now.
Testing. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. I'd like to welcome everybody today. And somebody asked, what is the DBAAA? And Flater told me it's not Alcoholics Anonymous. It was a name that we selected because we didn't know who we were, but we do now. I want to have all the people that worked on the focus groups that helped with the decision making to wave your hand or stand up or what have you, as I just told you to sit down. But we had a lot of people that helped, and I want to thank them, and let's give them all a nice round of applause. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the Sunshine registration team, Barb Sager, Judy Bujanovich, and Kathy. How fun. Also, you know, if Haluska was here, we'd have to pimp him somehow. So the other day I got a registration from Ken Wankowski. Ken played, Ken, raise your hand so they can all see you. Ken played from 45 to 49. In 49, he beat Haluska in the Catholic Conference in scoring, which would have been just perfect for this event. I want to thank all of you for coming, and I'm going to turn it over to two of my associates, Mr. Fonz and Mr. Tyson. They think they're going to stump you with trivia. Michael.
Thanks, Tom. A couple of trivia questions here. Is that okay?
Once again, you screwed it up already.
Actually, I don't think I need one.
All right, testing.
That one? Oh, okay. Thank you. All right, a couple trivia questions. First of all, this would be, is Jerry Brzezinski here? Jerry, I got one for you. Okay? Who were the first two principals of Don Bosco from 1947 to 57? This is before some of the Don Bosco people were probably born. Ed Houston and Fred Ricebrook. Correct. Good memory. Is J. Michael Bartles here? Where? Question for you. Who was a famous sprinter who was a one-man track team for Don Bosco in 55-56? We did not have a track team, and he entered as a one-man track team. Dick Schmidt, correct. Russ Flater, where are you? Russ, who was the brother who was the enforcer in 1958? Anybody else at once? Brother Willett. Brother Leo Willett. All right, now this is one. Let's go with Mike Lazeski. Where are you, Mike? Okay, Mike. There were nicknames for coaches. Okay, in football, what were Jim Haluska's nickname, Andy Steffen's nickname, Ron Fieber's nickname, and in basketball, Tom Sager's? What? The Bear was Sager, correct?
Correct.
Huh? Mental Ron. Yeah, or Fuzz. Okay. The Jewel?
Yes.
Yeah. Also Jungle Jim. Okay. And Andy, everybody knew as the Greek. Okay, Tim, your turn.
Okay, this one is for Mark Schultz. Mark, where are you? Mark?
Mark is here.
Okay, Mark, what is, this is gym class related, okay. What is a burpee? Well, now that you're called on, not only do you have to answer, but you have to demonstrate what a burpee is. You gutless wonder, you.
Oh, here we go.
All right, here we go.
Anybody going to demonstrate a burpee?
No. Oh, yes.
Oh, there it is.
All right.
Lock them up.
Okay, here's a general question. Anybody can answer this one. What did Brother Charles Sontag hand out to those students that he thought deserved it? Rosary. Rosary, correct. I got it. All right, Jeff Barber, this one's for you. This one's for you, Jeff Barber. Name 3 of the most famous or infamous gym class drills Coach Haluska conducted.
Dodgeball.
Jungle relay.
Jungle relay.
Wheelbarrow. Polish Army. Fireman Saved My Child. Do we remember that one too?
And all the lights off.
And all the lights off in the wrestling room and throw balls at. Yeah, I'm sure he could get away with that now. I was gonna ask Rush Flater this one, but he already had a question. So this is my last question. To anyone's knowledge, well, I got 2 questions. The first one, they're both alcohol related, so let's. To anyone's knowledge, while attending Don Bosco, did you view any of the Brothers of Mary drinking alcohol and/or smoking cigarettes?
And who?
And who? Who?
Gerhard.
Gerhard. Yeah.
Who else? So.
Eugene Sohm, yeah.
In your house.
Cottager? And the last one, there was rumors, unsubstantiated, that Don Bosco students attended a tavern right around the corner from the high school during their days. Can somebody name that tavern? What? Borkowitz's, yes. And Trisco, where's Trisco? Trisco.
He's here.
Where is he? What was the name of the candy store that if you walked in, you died from smoke inhalation because there's Paul's Gut Shop, yes. Yeah, you did? That's how you got your start at catering, right? Okay, I don't know, Mike, you got
a couple more.
From our school song, Hark the call of youth resounding, raise a welkin loud and clear. What's a welkin? Anybody know? I thought I knew and I was wrong. I looked it up last night. The welkin. Nobody? It's the sky. It's the sky. So we sang that all that time, nobody knew. It's the sky. For a good period of time, once a month on a Monday night, almost all of Don Bosco would go, and this is during the winter too, to a place off-site and do something. Anybody know what that was? Fatima Shrine and say the rosary. How's that fit in these times? 2-part question. Yeah, a lot of good it did me. 2-part question. Brother Dan served 2 times as principal. He was principal for a while, then he left. Who was his successor before he came back again? As principal. Brother Ernst. Got it. Okay. And the other one was we had a band director, Mr. Kanaski. What was his first name? Enoch. Okay.
You guys are good.
Yeah. 2 more. Kubzak. Name 2 distinguishing factors about Brother Sharp other than his height. Okay, go. Toothpick? White socks? Okay. The tie. He never tied his tie. Okay, and he was always walking the halls with a coffee cup. Okay. Now, the last one, I went back through my 3 last years at Bosco through the old yearbooks. And in every yearbook, the seniors, they had their picture, their name, a nickname, and then the activities they were in. I've got a couple of nicknames that I want you to figure out who they were. Well, I'll ask you I'll name a person and try to tell me what their nickname was. Dan Gaynor. Do you even know what your nickname was in the yearbook? Deacon. Deacon. Okay. Marty, you can't answer. Marty Gregorsich was? Animal, but that's not what was in the yearbook. Herc. I don't know if anybody will get this. Mike Sager. Anybody know what that was? It's in the yearbook. Tom's brother Mike. It's in the yearbook. Gary? Where is he? What was Mike Sager's nickname in the yearbook? I was in this class and I never even heard him called this. Scarlet Coyote. Honest to God. And speaking of the times that we went through, I'm not going to say who it was, but there was one guy whose nickname was Boobs, okay? And Bob DeVita. Anybody know what his nickname was? You couldn't get away with this now. 3-letter word, WAP. That's what it was. It's in the yearbook. Okay. All right, we got John next. You ready? Okay, Tim.
What we'd like to do now is, Coach is going to help me here. Those of you that are here that are already in the Thomas More, Don Bosco, Pianono Athletic Hall of Fame, will you please stand up if you're already in the Hall of Fame? We'd like to recognize you. Tom Lashinsky-Michaels, Ted Brezink, Art Baldewitz. I know Gary Gresh is here, and Tom Sager, and Dick Flater. I'm sorry, Dick, I didn't see you. You got to be a little taller, Dick. Okay. Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I got a quick note about Coach Sager being in the Hall of Fame because he was one of 2 persons in the history of Don Bosco that won 10 major letters. The other one was Tom Mim, who is unfortunately not here. But the weird thing about it is Tom grew up on the same block as 2 houses away. So the 2 10 major letter winners went to the same parish and lived on the same block. Excuse me? Tom Mim, I'm sorry, he played in what, 68? Who did?
We'll check that.
We'll check that out, Ed. We'll check that out.
We'll send PolitiFact after it.
Before I give the mic back to Coach Sager, who's chomping at the bit, we need to acknowledge Coach Sager for his efforts and dedication, not only in putting this together, but as you heard about the Wall of Champions and all those things. He exemplifies what we all think of Don Bosco High School. So thanks, Coach.
You know, the journey has been a lot of fun. How this got started and how it ended, someone's looking out for us. A young man, John Hoke, is the athletic director at St. Thomas More and the basketball coach. And I got to meet John last November when Gary Gresh went in the Hall of Fame, and that's a long story. But the story is, John is going to tell us how we got the Coach Haluska Wall of Champions. John.
Thank you, Coach. And I have to start out by saying it's really exciting to see so many alums here. The one thing that's been so impressive to me since I've met Coach and a lot of different Bosco alums is how passionate you are about your high school. I've never met a group of guys who are so passionate about their high school as you are. I'm a 87 Thomas More alum, and I've been working at Thomas More for the last 14 years, the last 5 as the athletic director. And this last October, for the first time, the athletic department took over the Athletic Hall of Fame selection and induction. And that's when I got to meet Gary Gresh, and we inducted him, and then I got to meet Coach, and I thought to myself, boy, I looked at his stats, and I thought, there's got to be a lot more guys that I don't even know about, I'm too young, who really probably belong in this Hall of Fame. So I simply contacted Coach and said, would you help us identify these people? And that started in November, and a bunch of breakfast meetings later, we got bigger and bigger to the point where now we're inducting a bunch of teams and adding a new area to this, and it's going to be called the Jim Haluska Wall of Champions, and we're very excited about that. We think that he's one of our cornerstone coaches in the history of our school and schools, and what great honor to have one of the greatest high school football coaches in Wisconsin history now his name will be on that wall permanently. So I want to thank Coach Sager, and it's been a real pleasure to become his friend over these last couple of months and go through this journey with him. And I'm just really excited for September for the when we the dedication ceremony, and then our first induction ceremony in October. So thanks a lot.
If you can all mark your calendars, you are all invited to attend. The date is Sunday, September 20th at 12 noon at St. Thomas More High School. That date, again, Sunday, September 20th, will be the dedication of the Jim Haluska Hall of Fame wall. This will be a big affair. The program will include some comments from some of Jim's former players. Some of the Haluska family will be there, and I'm sure there'll be a representative with some comments from the family. And the whole purpose of the ceremony will be to honor and unveil the Wall of Fame, to honor Jim Haluska, to honor championship teams. You would not be here if Don Bosco, its school, faculty, activities, teams, and yes, championship teams didn't mean a lot to you. They do mean a lot to you. It's been said you can't bring back the past, and I'm going to beg to differ because we're doing that today, and I think we're going to do it again on September 20th. So I would invite all of you, if you can, please consider coming to that. I think that if you look, and a lot of you have already received a copy of the school song. If you haven't, you will get one. There is a apropos phrase in that school song, I think, for today and for the upcoming ceremony. And if I could just recite those words real quickly, I think you will see how it ties in. Every loyal heart responding to a love that's true and dear. Let's retell fond friendship's story as comrades all draw nigh and sing the praise and glory of dear Don Bosco High. What better place, what better way, what better venue than September 20th to retell fond friendship's story, to retell the story, and to sing the praise to dear Don Bosco High. And so I would invite all of you to come to that September 20th, noon, that's a Sunday, for that dedication. Russ?
Tom Sager will correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, this year's Jim Haluska Memorial Golf Outing will be held August 30th at Morningstar. And we got a bunch of golfers here. I don't know if you've ever played Morningstar, but it's a great venue. And we're playing on August 30th, and with the exception of rain, it should be a nice day. And very nice. The entry fee is $70. That covers golf, range, food, cart, prizes, whole prizes, and door prizes. So it should be a lot of fun. There are 2 flights. We're going to have an A flight, which is if you shoot 89 or below, if that's your average score, you're in the A flight. If you shoot 90 and over, you're going to be in the B flight. I will be in the C flight. I'm playing so bad, I'm the only one entered in the C flight, which makes me a winner.
All right, sandbagging. Right, you're exactly right, Miranda. No sandbagging.
So anyway, actually this golf outing actually becomes an extension of what we are here. Camaraderie, Don Bosco athletes, some Thomas More people with us, and just a lot of fun. So any money left over from expenses will be donated to the Coach Haluska Wall of Champions. There's one person here who I'd like to see play in this August 30th, that is Dick Schmidt. He's got wooden shafted golf clubs full of cobwebs. But if Dick would consider cleaning off his golf clubs, getting the cobwebs off, it'd be nice to see Dick there, it really would.
Okay. All right, Russ. I want to thank a few people, Tim Tyson, Mike Fonz, Russ Flater, and Dickie Flater. They've been on this journey since it started, and who would have thought we'd end up here? At this time, I'm going to call forth Marty Gregorich. I want you all to stand. We're going to sing the school song. Marty, bring your song card. The rest of you, come on up. Tim, I'm waiting for you. Michael? Marty.
Where's Marty?
Big
Come on,
Ted.
Marty. Come on, Ted.
Bartles, were you in a glee club? Come on. Hannerhan was too. Come on up here. Get up here. We got to have some guys that can sing.
Come on, Gainer. Come on.
Yeah, we need guys that can sing. Shelley? Bishop, what? You think I'm not recognizing you? Get over here.
Get over here.
Right here. Are we ready? Marty?
Not really.
Okay. All right.
Everybody join in.
Do any of you remember Brother Gerhardt? Okay. And he always started out with a dee 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 dee.
Well.
All right, here we go.
You got good vocal timber.
Heart the hall of youth resounding,
Raise the welkin loud and clear. Every loyal heart responding to a love that's true and dear. Let's retell fond friendship stories as comrades all draw nigh and sing the praise and glory of dear Don Bosco High. Rah, 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 to the future skies. Rah, 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 go to the dreams and sighs. We're out to win each fray, who friend and foe we say, watch our dons today. Hey, rah, 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 to our mothers and dads. Rah, 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 to our robbers and grads. Calvin, sons, and rolling plain, Don Bosco's noble name. Hail to the fatherly parish, hail to thy memory dear. Adventure who with allegiance, our sons rally here. You rah rah, though heaven father be called me, we love to his years go by. To the stars of each fold of that dear green and gold. Hail Don Bosco high. You rock, rock, Bosco high. You rock, rock, Bosco high. You rock, rock, Bosco high. Hey!
That is a song that will never end.
It goes forever. Good job.
Brother Charlie had his violin up in heaven playing here. Playing.
All right. If you want to play golf, we got stuff over for the golf outing. Enjoy yourselves. I have. Thank you.